We're at number 4.
I'm sorry, what was that?
Number 4. Number 4. Describe an area of science that interests you.
Okay.
I would. What? I don't say what.
Can I have time more than 1 minute because I want to make a script?
Oh, you don't. We're just brainstorming. You don't have to talk for 2 minutes.
No, I want to talk for 2 minutes, but I want to.
You want to talk for 2 minutes?
Yeah, but I really want to make a script. What to say?
Okay.
Yeah,
all right.
and I want to take my time. That's one thing too that I want to do. Okay.
Sige, so gusto nyo mag 1 minute ko?
Okay, wait a minute because I'm looking for a paper.
No worries.
Okay. All right, let me just, so area of science that interests you. So I would say, oh, we don't have bullet points here. Then.
Hold on, I will flash the bullet points 1 moment. Part 2, number 4. Okay, hold on. There you go. 1 minute is good?
No, don't give me 1 minute until I'm ready, okay?
Okay.
Because after this one, I'm gonna stick to it in case I'll get this. Question in my exam, or in case I'll get this during our practice, I want to stick to it. I don't want to like talk about like I'm all over the place. So I want to stick to my ideas. Okay. So I would say there are a couple of how should I say, there are a couple of areas in science.
Sorry, come again. There are different fields of science?
Because it says describe an area of science that interests you. So I want to make an introduction that there are actually a couple of areas of science that interest me. But if I had to choose, or if I had to talk about one, then it would be biology. So let's say I have a couple. I don't have to mention. I don't have to mention like I love chemistry interests me, physics interests me. I don't have to mention those. I just want to make an introduction so that I can use my conditional sentence. That's my point. So I want to stick to it while I'm practicing. I want to stick to it. While I'm preparing. So in case I'll get this during our practice session, I'll just do the same thing over and over again. Because if I don't write what I'm going to say, then the next time I'll get this question, then I would be saying different things, and I don't want to do that. I want to stick to the idea, what I'm going to say first, second, third, until I finish all the bullet points so that I can master it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's easier that way than to talk about different things and you're going to go like all over the place with your ideas. It's better that when I have my real exam, then I'm already well versed in case I get the same question. And I'm preparing with other questions too. This is what I want to do. Let me just grab my... Okay, there are a couple of areas of science. It's like, branches maybe, eh? 10.
I think both are okay.
Yeah, but because
branches.
So I'll just say there are a couple actually. branches of science that interest me. But if I had to choose one to describe, then it would be biology. Okay? So I'm gonna
Sounds
say
good.
that there are actually a couple of branch areas of science maybe. Okay. There are a couple of so okay kaning branches, or I'm gonna ask my husband about this.
It
Do you think
sounds it.
it sounds
You
awkward
can
to me?
ask your husband just to clarify, but branches of science actually, but it's okay, but it's also used.
Yeah. So I think they are kind of synonym with it is a synonym of
Yeah, you can
area,
say that.
right? There are a
It's
couple
correct.
of
It's
branches
not
of
wrong.
science that that actually interest me. Okay, let me just okay. Branches of science that actually interest me. But if I had to describe one today, it would be if I had to describe one now, it would be so biology is okay. Like I don't need an article. I don't say it would be a okay. I'll ask my husband anyways.
You can say it would be biology.
It would be well. It's correct, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's weird if you say it would be the biology or a biology.
I
It's
know.
weird. Don't say that.
But you know what? Like it's sometimes when I feel like I need to put an article, then it's not really appropriate. And if I don't feel like I need an article, my husband or my daughter would say, "Mom, you have to say this." Like for example,
Yeah, I commit the same mistake.
yeah, it's like when I say
But
in the society, and my daughter would
don't
say,
say the
"No,
society.
don't say that. It's in society."
Yes,
And
yes.
then
Bago lang din yun na-correct sa akin. And it actually makes sense.
and then
Because if you say the society, you're referring to something specific. But which society? That community, the community close to us, the community in Manila,
mm,
like something specific, or the society is somewhere. But if
okay.
you're talking in like overall or general, don't say that.
Okay. So what science it is? Okay, so bullet points. What? Can you hear that sound, Dai? It's like we have a storm here in
Okay.
Ottawa. Yeah, it's so bad. I can hear it even I closed everything already. There are no cracks at all, but I can still hear the
Yeah, that happens sometimes when
and
it's really
it's
bad here as well.
and it's
But
raining.
yes, I will not nothing, but it kind of happens. That happens. But right now, I mean, I live in the basement, so I
Oh,
don't really hear anything.
so yeah, it's quiet. It's quiet in the basement. You can't hear anything. How you
Yeah,
got
but it's also
interested
really
in it?
cold.
Oh, okay. But if you have a good heater,
Yeah,
not a
yeah,
problem
and
at
our
all.
landlord's pretty chill about like the use of heater.
Doing his due diligence.
Yeah. And my sister's, it's awful there. Like, there was this one time I adjusted the thermostat. She nagged me and then complained, like, are you gonna pay extra to the bill? So if I go to sleep, I'll just wear 5 layers. That's what she recommended.
You're gonna wear your parka.
Yeah,
Oh, you
wear
go.
like 5 layers of something. It was awful.
Yeah? Oh, yeah, I know that when I also visit some friends here in Ottawa, and if it's in winter, then I notice that their place is so
House is cold.
cold. Yeah, you are
Yeah.
having dinner and it's so cold. And I said, how can this be? And my husband also he's exactly
So
the
funny.
opposite, like very extreme. He
Oh,
would put our house in a like a furnace, and I said, what is going on? I'm gonna die soon. And my husband, oh, I feel so cold. I said, no, I can't stay here. This is so. And yeah, my husband, it's like we are opposite. I like cold, and he likes warm.
I
How
hate
you
the
got
warmth. I just
interested in it? Okay. How you learn these signs? Actually, I don't have to write. Actually, I mean, so I said biology, and I how you got interested. It started many years ago. It started many years ago
you can
when,
also say I have always been interested.
okay, okay, when I a had a biology subject in high school. Um, my my teacher my teacher whose name was Erlinda Reyes. Was my teacher was, okay, I'll just say my teacher was Erlinda Reyes. In her class, I learned about, do you say elements of water or compositions of water?
Element, I guess, is more appropriate. Yeah, for chemical components of water.
Okay, so in her class, I learned the chemical components of water. Okay,
Yeah,
I learned
that's good.
the chemical. Is it really? Oh, okay. Hydrogen and oxygen, they are chemicals, right? The chemical
Yeah,
components.
yeah. I think both are correct. Components or elements.
Oh, yeah, because the table of the chemistry table of elements, something like that. There is like a chart that we have to memorize the symbols. Remember that?
Yeah, H2O. Alright, I was wrong.
Yeah, I mean that kind of, it's like a counterpart of uh, multiplication table, something like that. But this is chemistry. We all, at the start of our year or semester, uh, that's the first, topic that we're gonna discuss. The table, table something.
Table of elements.
I don't know. Let's just Google it.
Yeah, it's periodic table of elements.
Oh, okay, periodic table. That's like, okay. Okay, I learned the chemical components of water. Okay. And I thought that was really cool. Thought that was really cool when I learned that water had two, okay, two oxygen and one hydrogen particles. How do you call particles? Water particles have got. Do you know the atoms, and there are like things like that in water? Atoms. What's the atom? Anyways. Okay, so uh, when I learned that water had
Maybe I'm googling it. Maybe say molecules.
molecules, each molecule has got
H2O is a chemical formula for water, meaning that each of its molecules contain one oxygen and two hydrogen atoms.
okay. It's okay. I'm sorry. Can you repeat that, please?
H2O is the chemical formula for water, meaning that each of its molecules contain one oxygen and two hydrogen atoms.
Okay, so I would say that, okay, that was the time when I learned. I thought that was really cool. She explained that H2O is the component formula. Napakaday.
Yes, nagabasa lang po po.
Sige. Ako sa nimo manunday ha. Kadali na lang.
No worries.
Okay. I wanna really make sure that I know what I'm gonna say. Yeah.
Response in response to the back artificial vaccination is effective artificial activity.
Which means each molecule has got hydrogen, one hydrogen and two oxygen. Atoms. Atoms are the basic units of matter and the defining structure of elements. The term atom comes from the Greek word invisible because it was once thought that atoms were the smallest things in the universe and could not be divided. Atoms, so I would say, means each molecule has got one hydrogen and two oxygen. And since then, I never forget this. Since then, I have been thinking about these elements, whether I drink water or swim in the pool. You say swim in the ocean or on the ocean?
In.
Okay.
Yes, because you're swimming in, like, underneath the water, not on top of the water. Like submerged, you're submerged in the water. Yeah, in is the correct for that.
In the ocean. Can we say like it's simple, but it's simple yet complex?
I think it's
Because if I say like made me think, and every time I see whether I drink a glass of water or I go for a swim in the ocean, I always reflect that water is just a simple atom, yet it's complex.
I feel like you're overdoing it.
Oh, okay. I just
Like,
wanna.
or
Okay.
I don't know. Maybe I can refer that to your husband.
Okay.
Like, don't overcomplicate it, because that might put you at risk for making a mistake, especially if they're like really critical about science.
Yeah, I know. Okay, whether I'm drinking a glass of water or I'll go for a swim, or whether I drink a glass of water. I think I drink a glass of water or go for a swim. It made me reflect that basic truth. I'll just say that. It makes me reflect that basic fact about
maybe you can say we encounter this every day, yet we don't realize its complexity.
Oh,
Something
now
like
you're
that.
overdoing it. We have a
I
lot
mean, I
of.
think that's the point that you wanted to say.
Okay. All right. So, oh, you know what? It's better to say chemistry than biology, right? Because I'm talking about water. I know in biology we also talk
Yes,
about
actually,
water.
yeah,
Yeah.
yes.
But actually that teacher taught biology and that's where I learned
Actually, that
about
yeah. Now that
water.
I realize, it's actually chemistry, not really
Yeah, exactly.
biology.
But
When you want to talk about biology, maybe mention about animals.
yeah, like all living things. It's either
Yeah,
it's
human
whether plants
organisms. I
or
mean, living
man.
organisms. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm. Okay, so overall, um, what would I say? Overall, I would say to finish my speech. Overall, my interests in chemistry eh, expanded from water to from overall. Okay, overall, my interest in this particular area of science area of science
Baka pwede mo ma-insert dyan ang phrasal verb na eye-opening.
eye-opening. Okay.
Yeah. If you want.
Yeah.
Daghan could ma-realize.
H2O. Okay, overall, my fascination is overall my interest in this particular area of science has has
Mangihi sa ko da.
sige. Hello, Josell. Hi. Ikaw ba yan?
Yeah. Naka-video ba ako?
Oo, naka-video ka.
Okay. Nasa ano ako
Ha?
nakadnalak ako. Wala akong susi. Nandito ako sa labas ng bahay namin.
Ay, naku, ano ba yan?
Sorry, baka na-store ko kayo.
Oh, hindi, nagkukumpose pa ako dito kung anong sasabihin ko sa has
Saan?
become of,
Ano? What science?
yeah.
Para mag-exam ka rin mo, ha? Mamrita.
Ha?
Para mag-exam ka rin, ha?
Oo nga. Ay, nagpa-practice lang kasi gusto kong,
Yeah.
kaya sinusulat ko din yung gusto kong sabihin kung sakaling ito ang makukuha kong question. Kung sakali. At
Yeah.
saka kung, halimbawa, kung sa practice natin, mabigyan ako ng ganitong, para alam ko kung ano kung sasabihin.
Hindi ba si Christine?
Nandiyan pero nandun sa washroom.
Si. Nakita ko lang pagtingin ko, kaka-open ko lang. Kasi nga naghihintay ako ng naghihintay ako ng may susi.
Oh, okay. So yung pala,
Malapit na ako, my gosh. Malapit na exam ko wala pa rin.
kailan?
Utal-utal pa rin ako magsalita, naiinis ako. Diyos ko, gusto kong ilahin ako.
No, pagkadating mo doon, okay ka na kasi yun na yun eh. You will give your...
Siguro kahapon nga, meron kanina, yung ni-refer ni Christine, si Luke, yung native speaker. Kanina nag-session kami. May kamahalan eh. Kaya, ang tawag dito, nagpa-assessment lang ba? O sige ma'am, baka nag-ano ka, o gusto mong ako magtanong na neto habang nag-iisip ka.
Oh, sige.
Okay.
Okay.
Gusto ko nga ako try ko. O sige, describe an area of science that interests you. You should say what science it is, how you got interested in it, and how you learned this science, and why this science is interesting to you.
Okay, so do you have a timer?
You still need 1 minute?
I don't need the 1 minute now.
No need for 1 minute o 2 minutes
No.
na lang. O
Okay.
sige. Ang dali lang.
Ako na mag-timer tech.
Ay, nandiyan pala si Christine. Hi,
So,
Pin. Ito naman nandiyan ka. Oh, my God. Ang aga-aga kong nagising kanina is 4.
Right. Okay pa naman kayo.
Ha?
It went well, I mean.
Okay, oo. Hindi ko lang alam. Sana nga yung 1 hour na yun eh. Almost, magto 2 hours eh. So sana free na yung almost 1 hour na yun na free. So eto lang si Marco kasi taga Saudi. Medyo mahal nga sa kanya. Mahal.
Para sa kanya.
Kasi parang 70 reals. So di ba parang dito 7 parang pagka inano mo is 70 70 card kumbaga. So
So dalawa kayo and then
dalawa kami. So, hindi, tig-20
pero
kami.
maraming din natutunan tech.
Oo, ang tawag dito, yung pronunciation, ayun nga yung sinasabi. Mabrita, okay lang? Sorry
Oo, okay lang.
Okay lang.
Nire-record, naka-live tayo sa YouTube. Sa mga chika-chika natin.
Kasi, ano na lang, kanto na lang bang copy, sorry. Ang tawag dito, ano sinabi ko, nawala. Yun kasi, gumamit kami ng yung I feel flabbergasted when you
Yeah, sabi ko, tape, paulit-ulit ko talaga yung sinasabi na.
Yung lolo mo ang yung isa ay si father ko, yung share ko yung ang gumamit. Ng flabbergasted. Tapos, there's a Germain, ang pagkarinig ni kasi ang topic is, ang cue card is yung city that you enjoy. Yun, discuss the city that you most enjoy, gano'n. So, yun nga, yung yung scripted na ano na namin na I feel flabbergasted when I saw the feedback because there's a Germany. Akala ni why daw nasa Italy siya, ba't napunta ng Germany, German. So parang ito, nahihiya yung isang magsalita na hindi yung German, Germain. So ako din nagsabi. So sabi niya nga, parang hindi siya sa swak dito sa ano na yun. Sabi niya ng gano'n.
Yeah, hindi talaga yung mga template that will bring your score down kasi marami kayo i-insert kasi hindi naman related. Pero pala yung makahalata siya na scripted.
Oo,
kaya.
So,
I mean, you can say you're flabbergasted, but again, like at least show some emotion. Na parang, hindi ito scripted na flabbergasted. Like, show na, yeah, I'm shocked.
Yeah.
Parang, okay.
Kaya nga.
If you really want to use it.
Yun nga, sabi niya nga, do you know sabi niya ng gano'n, Christine. Sabi ko, yes, I know her. Sabi ko, siya nag-refer nga sa'yo. Pero yung isa si Marco, hindi niya kasi ang sabi ni Luke, kasi nagsasabi daw mga ka-practice niya na daw yung vocab na ganito ganun. Maayos, excellent na nga daw. Excellent ka na daw. yung vocab ko.
Yeah, I guess kasi appropriate na siya. Hindi siya yung mga high level na complicated na words, pero I guess I'm using appropriate idiomatic language, I think. Alright, anyway, ate, you're ready ko na yung 2 minutes.
Okay, ready na. Sige.
Your timer starts now.
All right, so there are a couple of branches of science that actually interest me. But if I had to describe one now, it would be chemistry. And it's kind of like, I know this is, it's really a complicated subject, but I will just give my best shot. And how I got interested with chemistry is that it started when I had this subject in my high school. My teacher was Mrs. Erlinda Reyes, and in her class I learned the chemical components of water. I thought that was really cool. When Mrs. Reyes explained that H2O was the chemical formula of water, which means each molecule has got 1 hydrogen and 2 oxygen atoms. Since then, I've been thinking about these elements. Can you imagine like this basic thing that we need every day, but yet it's complex in terms of the components, whether I'm drinking a glass of water or I'm going for a swim in the ocean. It makes me really reflect that basic fact about water or H2O. Overall, my interest in this particular area of science has become my great fascination when it comes to chemistry. And in fact, I always tell my friends, I also studied a lot about the water cycle, and every time it rains, it's really a great fascination. I don't know if how much time do I have, or did I finish my 2 minutes? Anyways, I'll
5
just
seconds.
keep talking. And yeah, don't you think it's interesting? I will ask that to the examiner. Well, obviously that's a rhetorical question. So,
All right, your 2 minutes is done. Sorry for interrupting. Thank you.
All right.
Ate, just a correction that I found. What do you think about, you were mentioning water, H2O was the component. I think you should use H2O is the component because it never changes.
I know, but the context is when I learned and when my teacher explained. That's why I maintain the past tense, because I was talking that time when my teacher explained that subject in the class.
Okay. I learned.
Only now, when I said that since then, I have been thinking about these elements. So dito na here I switch to past. I switch from past tense to present tense. But that time I was talking about when she explained to us about the components of water. I learned that also from my examiner, because one time I was asked.
It's okay to say that.
I'm sorry.
It's okay to say that. I learned.
Yeah.
The
Okay.
use of that specific sentence, please. Can you repeat that one? If you have a copy there.
Which one?
Can you repeat that certain part? Like I learned that H2O was.
Okay. All right. Okay. So I said my teacher was Erlinda Reyes. In her class, I learned the chemical components of water. I thought that was really cool. Mrs. Reyes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, in that context, it's correct.
Yes.
Pero in that context. Sige, go on. Sorry for interrupting.
Okay.
Go
When
on.
Mrs. Reyes explained that H2O was the chemical formula of water, which means each molecule has got one hydrogen and two oxygen atom. So here I switched to has. I didn't say had, because it's like I'm kind of like trying to relate how she said it. That she said, okay, water, okay, this means that each molecule has got one hydrogen and two oxygen.
Yeah, that sounds correct to me.
Yeah. So yeah, because you know what, when I had also a mock test with my course, and I was asked about an event I went to, this and that, and so I talked about my sister's wedding, and then I related about her wedding dress, and I said her wedding dress it's white, and it's beautiful, and she's.
Did you say if?
Yes, yeah, and she told me.
In that context, it's wrong.
No, she told me, well, I'm sure, your sister's wedding dress is maybe still there, but since you were talking about that day during the wedding when she was wearing that dress, then it should be in the past. The tenses should be the past. So yeah, I can talk about the dress that's still there in her closet, and it's in present tense, right? But she said,
was.
Yeah, but she said because the context is that day when during the wedding she was wearing that dress.
Yeah. Yes.
So that's why I'm aware too with this, that because I'm talking about when my teacher explained, this was years and years ago, about water, so I had to use the past tense.
So how about if, for example, for example, I will say it this way. My teacher was explaining to me that the chemical components of water are, that the H2O actually were H2OR.
Where? It should be where?
H2OR kasi
Is H2O is water, and that's an uncountable noun, so you should use singular.
H2O
Was.
H2O. Okay, my teacher was giving me a lesson. My teacher told me that the chemical
components.
Damn it. Now I'm confused. Okay, never mind, Ate. Okay, as long as you know that. But I was really confused because I feel like you can't change the
the fact.
Yeah, I understand.
When you are talking about the fact about the water, then it's always in the present tense, and
yes.
And
yes.
But because the context is when she explained to me, I have to use the past verb tense.
So she explained to me that that water was composed of H2O.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's good to remember that, because this is our this is our weakness as Filipinos, or I think not only Filipinos, but those non-native English speakers, that we kind of like get confused whether to use the present tense or past tense, or it just slips to, and it slips that because we are not natives, that we switch back and forth with the past tense and present tense. But it's good to be very definite in our mind. We know why we use past tense and why we use present tense. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like
Okay,
that,
that.
like that we know that if it's a known fact, a general truth should be always, should always use present tense. But in this case, because I was talking about the time when I learned that water or chemical components of water is blah blah blah, so that's why I have to use the past verb tense.
Okay. And I'll flash something in this Korean. So in that case, for example, I'm talking in the same about the same in the same context. So the correct way to use it, I mean the correct form to use it is the second sentence.
Let me just, because I can't see it properly.
Okay.
Was the chemical component. Teacher was in her class. I learned that chemical. Okay. Actually,
so dapat
yeah. The second, it should be. You should only use the simple past. So, my teacher gave me a lesson that water was.
Gave me a lesson that water was composed. So
Yes.
in this case, dapat water was.
Yes, it should be was. Yeah. Yeah, because
I
you
mean,
were.
I still kind of get confused because I already gave or I don't know, it's up to you, but I'm still kind of confused about it because I already explained that this situation is in the past, but this is already the predicate. It shouldn't, I'm giving a general truth as a predicate. So parang hindi na siya dapat you know what, we can let it go.
Yes, but just remember, when you are talking about a specific time in the past, always use, even if it's a known fact, always use the past tense, because the emphasis is not about the known fact. The emphasis is about that time when you learned the fact. You know what I mean? So you have to use the past tense, and then you can switch. Now I realize, or I have this fascination that what's H2O is always this and that. Then you can say that. Then your examiner like, he knows that you know what you are talking about. You know your verb tenses, right?
Okay. All right. Okay. So in this case, I should use the second.
Yeah.
When?
Only when you're talking about a specific time in the past. Your context. Okay. So, and then in your next paragraph, you can switch to the time now.
Just to give emphasis.
Yeah, just to give an emphasis that you know that it's a known fact. H2O, or is the chemical component of whatever chemical formula of water.
Okay. All right. Thank you for clarifying that.
Yeah. It's I learned
still,
that from.
I find.
Yeah.
Lesson mind-boggling.
What was that? Joselle's. What did Josell say about? We were talking about that earlier too. You remember that? You said, "Ate, don't ever say this." And what was that?
Why?
Yeah, you remember earlier, before Josell joined us, or even before we had our Zoom. We started our Zoom. You remember what word was that? But it was not mind-boggling, but kind of similar.
Mind-blowing.
No, not mind-blowing. You said that it's common.
I mean, I thought
You remember, Josell, that you said Christine corrected you about it?
I don't remember when it was.
When you just came in and I was preparing my speech and you said that, oh, let me talk to Tin.
I don't know. No, I didn't hear.
Oh no! We will review our recording
I didn't hear.
because Tintin, we talked about it. That you said to me, "Oh, Ate, don't you ever use this because this is very common." And you said that you hear it from.
Maybe flabbergasted.
Yeah, that one. What is that? How do you write it? Can you write it on our chat?
I think flabbergasted.
I heard that from many participants in our speaking session, but I didn't really get the word.
Yeah, Christine, yeah.
Oh, flabbergasted. Oh
It's
boy.
actually a British, I think it's a British term, not really term, but like it's deeply British. And so a lot of Brits use it. So it's like gobsmacked or flabbergasted. It means like, I don't know, shocking from
Oh.
gobsmacked. When you get that face na shock ka, I mean, I'll show my face.
Oh, okay. Feeling or showing intense shock, surprise or wonder. Yeah.
Like extreme shock.
Extreme. Yeah.
Like, so when someone saw the cue card, they didn't really give that expression. So why would you claim that you were flabbergasted? You get flabbergasted when you heard that your friend is pregnant, or like when someone died, or like when you failed the exam even though you've been studying for how many years. That type of feeling is like that will give you the flabbergasted feeling. But like like when I read the cue card, it kind of sounds inappropriate. But parang lalo lang na insert.
Yeah. It's like a
So that's why
shoehorn.
I avoid that. I mean, unless if you're really showing that type of emotion, it's like horrifyingly crazy.
Mamita, I like your introduction. Because
Yeah.
you said science is, what did you say earlier? Your introduction, I like it. It's very simple, but it's so cute.
Precise.
Huh?
Yeah, precise. Your introduction in part 2. That
Yeah, there are a couple of branches of science that actually interest me.
yeah, I like the introduction.
Yeah.
Couple of interests. I think you said a couple of branches, so you mean a couple. So in that
A couple
case,
meaning, so a couple of branches. So when you say, it's like a few people.
Yes.
So you don't say
Yes.
a few
You
person.
say interests.
Oh my
You
God.
say interests.
No,
The subject
interest.
is a couple.
Yeah, interest. No S. Just interest me. There are a couple of branches of science that actually interest me. But if I had to describe one now, it would be chemistry. I got interested in chemistry many years ago. It started when I had this subject in high school. And my teacher was Erlinda Reyes. In her class, I learned the chemical components of water. I thought that was really cool. She explained, Mrs. Reyes explained that H2O was the chemical formula of water, which means each molecule has got 1 hydrogen and 2 oxygen. Since then, I have been thinking about these elements, whether I'm drinking a glass of water or I'm going for a swim in the ocean. It makes me reflect this basic fact about water or H2O. Overall, my interest in this particular area of science has become my great fascination until this day. Yes.
Oh, I wish I thought that way.
No, that's why I'm writing it like a script so that I know, like I can read, when I read it, I have that visual, you know how you remember things when you have it visually in your head. like a picture in your head.
There is a couple of typos.
So when you say a couple, the next noun there is plural.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay, so it's good.
You
It's
remember
considered
that
plural.
when we were talking about a pair of, when we were trying to answer that reading test?
A pair of shoes.
Yeah. You remember that,
Mhm.
Tintin?
Mhm.
Na, you answered steel, and I said white. A pair of meaning the next noun should be plural. A
Okay.
pair of gates, you remember that?
Yes.
You asked me,
So
why did you
considered
answer gates?
plural.
Hmm?
Okay. A pair of shoes that I.
A pair of
You know what? A pair.
of shoes. A pair of shoes.
You can say, I have 2 pairs of running shoes, something like that. Or I have a pair of running shoes.
Me too.
I know.
This that proposition. What is the name of this one? Like A and what is that, Mabrita? Is it
They are both.
No, oh my God, I'm stupid.
Articles.
Particles?
Yeah,
Yeah,
definite and indefinite.
And oh my God. I don't
So
know.
A is for indefinite and the is for definite.
Mhm.
For example, you say a lady, a beautiful lady is walking down the street,
Mhm.
and then in the same paragraph you talk again about that lady, then the next article should be the lady, because you already introduced a lady as as an indefinite person, but the next time you mention the same lady, so you switch to the, because it means that to your listener, it means that you are talking the same lady that you introduced in your at the outset of your whatever your speech. Or because if you keep saying a lady, then your listener would think, if the listener is a native English speaker, your listener would think that that's another lady. You're not talking the same lady. I don't know if I make sense, but anyways, that's how.
And for on that, so I cannot comment. I cannot really, I cannot really. I'm still even confused how to say it in English. I mean the A or A and the
There's nothing specific. I used to think that it's only a, but apparently depende daw siya sa accent.
ano no?
Depende daw siya sa accent. Pero ang ginagamit ko lang talaga all my life, and an. An eggplant, a dog, a tree. There's either a tree or a tree. Apparently, it's correct. It depends on the accent. So there's no correct or incorrect.
I think to me it depends
How?
which one is comfortable for you to say.
Yeah.
Because once
So
you feel awkward, then it's noticeable. So even if it's not right, maybe if you are comfortable saying it, if it's wrong to say a or a. But I know that, for example, I know that the is for consonant when the next word is consonant sound, but you say the when the next word is vowel sound.
Vowel.
But there is an exception.
The next letter, the next word starts with a.
Yeah, so but there is an exception to that, because when you say, when the next word is same, you say the same, you don't say the same. You get it? You get it?
What?
Yes.
What?
So-
Can you repeat that?
The is you say you pronounce da when the next word starts with consonant sound, but you say the, you pronounce the when the next word starts with a vowel sound. But there is an exception, because when the next word is same, same starts with a consonant sound, s, right? Same.
Yeah.
But you don't say the same, you say the same.
I say the same. I never say the same.
Huh?
I never say the same.
Oh. You say they. You don't say the same. No.
That's what I do. That's what I do.
That's wrong.
Are you serious?
Yes. That's wrong. When the same person went or came to visit, or same, the same. You say the same. You don't say the same. No. That's weird.
No, it's not.
It's weird.
Can you so be like, my mind is blown.
Yes. You're flabbergasted.
No, I'm flabbergasted.
Yes,
perplexed.
you're
I'm
flabbergasted.
perplexed.
Yes.
Oh my.
Are you serious? What do I look up? What?
Yeah, look up and Google it, how to pronounce the same. I can't believe it, Christine, that you don't.
I can't believe you're telling. I never.
I can't believe that you are
That's
pronouncing it the same, because I never noticed anything like that from you. I'm sure you're saying the same, not the same.
I don't think theoretically. I know that to me it sounds wrong.
Okay, you listen. So when you say the tree, you don't say the three. The tree. But you say,
Show me an article. 'Cause I
listen.
don't believe you.
Listen. But you
Okay.
don't say the animal. You say the animal,
Yes,
right?
because it's a vowel.
Yeah. And you say the mango. You don't say the mango.
Yes.
Yeah. So the avocado. You don't say the avocado. It's awkward.
Yes.
It's weird.
Okay, I need you to show me something, a proof. Why it's just because it sounds awkward doesn't mean it's correct.
I know where I don't know where I can find it, but let me try to Google. But I learned that many years ago. How
That's
to
crazy.
pronounce
That's crazy.
the.
Ate, suntukin ko yung English teacher mo.
Okay, what is the correct way to say the? Normally, we pronounce the with a short sound like the. But when it comes before a vowel sound, we pronounce it as a long the. See? Ah. When we wish to place emphasis on a particular word, we can use emphatic, the, whether or not the word begins with a consonant or vowel sound. But only when you emphasize something, the child. So that's when you can use the, because you are prolonging it. You don't say the child. So you say the child. But normally, the is only for vowel sound.
I think, can you show me your screen? I want to see it.
I will share it to you on YouTube.
My mind is so blown.
You're
Like, what?
flabbergasted.
There, listen.
Huh? It's there. Wait, in your messenger, I'll send it to your messenger, okay?
The same.
Yeah, only that. That's the exception.
The same.
The same.
That's insane. No, it says the same.
Okay. Okay, now you have there.
Okay,
Wait
please,
for-
yes, I'll look it up. Because, wow. Okay. normally we pronounce with a short sound like the. But when those hold on. But when the comes what? When the comes before what? But when the comes before a vowel
Yes.
sound, you pronounce it
As along the.
as long the. When we wish to place emphasis on a particular word, we can use emphatic the or the. Whether or not the word
Begins with, yeah, only when it's emphatic.
Emphatic.
When you emphasize.
When you wish. Hold on. The apple, the egg, the ice cream, the orange, the ugly. When we wish to place the emphasis on a particular, we can use a vowel sound. I saw the president. What? The
Huh?
president. Damn it. Are you serious?
No, you don't say the president.
The university, the umbrella.
But so it says if you want to add emphasis.
Yeah, when you emphasize, but if it's like just a passing pronunciation, the president, blah, blah, blah. But when you say the president,
Ito yung wait, makapakita ko ang screen ko. Wow, this is just mind-blowing. I mean, yeah, okay, I agree now. When you want to emphasize something,
mhm,
you use the. Ito yung example dito. That's crazy. So, pwede. But meron siyang ano yan? Ano tawag yan? Pwede siya ma-excuse. Ano tawag yan?
except, yeah.
It's an exemption. If you,
No, not
if you
exempt,
are-
exception.
Exception.
It is important to understand. Emphatic the. When we wish to place emphasis on a particular word, we can use emphatic the or the, whether or not the word begins with a consonant or vowel sound. For example, I saw the president yesterday. What? The president of the United States? Yes, exactly. I don't know. I'm just reading my screen. Okay. But it's not necessarily just for the word same. It says when I really want to emphasize.
Yes, which is very rare, right? You don't emphasize every word you say in one paragraph,
Yeah.
right?
Okay. So okay. Emphatic. That's crazy. I've never heard of that. Wow. The word always pronounced the can be used for emphasis. Okay.
Which one is that?
Emphatic the. So yun, pwede mo siyang sabihin na the kapag if you want to emphasize.
Yeah, you see, A, I saw the president yesterday, no emphasis there. But B, what? The president of the United, what?
Kasi gusto ko i-emphasize na yung presidente.
What? Okay, the president of the United States, yes. So yeah, then you vary your pronunciation. You see?
But pwede siya. If I want to add emphasis, but you were telling me that I should use the for same, which I believe is wrong, not necessarily. But if I want to emphasize, it's please say. It still sounds awkward to me. But yeah, these are minor errors. I don't think I will still be crazy about this.
Let me search.
This is a minor.
I'll search up about how to pronounce.
Hindi na tayo makatulog dahil itong
Oo. But then, it's very important because it's minor, but you use it like maybe 100 times in one paragraph when you say, or let's say you are talking, you're gonna give your part 2 questions or answers.
I promise you, wala ko kadungog ng the same. I'll never be the same.
Yeah, you see? The same ba ya imong ingon?
Hindi ko na gayon. Dahil siya.
Na?
Theoretically, it should be that.
Magsinumbagay magayud taan ni karon. Wala
ba
man
kayo ng,
dire.
province?
Ha?
Same province? Two of you?
The same vernacular language.
Oh, that is why. Ilonggo, right?
Now, pakinggan mo ang kanta ni Camilo Caballo.
Yeah, see, the same?
The same.
Huh? Shame or same?
I mean, it's okay. I mean, we talk. They won't notice that. But for me, I still believe that it should be the same.
The same?
I've never heard
Really?
of the. Pwede ba siguro yung mga H, yung the honorable, whatever, kasi silent H, diba? So it's a vowel sound. You know, it starts with a vowel sound. The honor. Please give me the. I would like to give you the honor, whatever, something like that. Even though it starts with an H, but it sounds honor. It's a silent H. Okay. Ate Josell. So wait, are you still confused about how to use and an?
Yeah.
So sina-explain kanina ni Ate na a lady. Oh, a lady just passed by. Merong babae. Pero for I'd like to have a cake on my birthday. I'm just saying that I would like to have a cake. Gusto ko magkaroon ng cake. But if I say I would like to have the cake, meron talaga akong tinutukoy na anong gusto ko na cake. I really want that cake. Yung napag-usapan na natin, yung alam natin kung anong yung may specific cake. Pero kapag para lang siya, indefinite ba? Hindi sure. Ang definite is sure. Like, di ba, sabi ka na, oh, are we going to take a look at some of these different words tomorrow? Definitely. Oh, sure talaga na pupunta. Yes.
So you ready to dive in?
It's sure na pupunta talaga ako. Pero pag indefinite, hindi ka sure na wala naman talaga ako sure na sinasabi na cake. Gusto ko magkaroon ng cake, pero wala kang sinasabi na but if I say, I want the cake
So let's start
from
nice
Sophie.
and simple. With
So
this
that's
word.
like, I want
Now, there's
that cake.
actually
That's
two
like that
ways
cake.
to
Yung talagang
pronounce this
tinutukoy ko
word.
na cake.
Do you know them?
Kind of,
Do you know
but
the
then,
word?
tapos, just remember, and an
We have
is
tear
singular. A dog.
and
I would like to
tear.
have a dog for my birthday. So parang gusto ko magkaroon ng aso.
Tear.
Pero kung sabihin ko na I would like to have the dog, meron akong, gusto ko talaga yun na aso. Pero kung kapag gusto ko, I would like to have a dog, gusto ko magkaroon ng aso. Ano pa ba? My friend told me that she wants to receive a letter. So, gusto niya magkatanggap ng letter. Or I'm expecting the letter from school. There's a definite, there's something specific.
Okay, sure. May specific.
And an, singular. An, gagamitin mo ang an kapag ang sunod is vowel. An elephant, an egg, an umbrella. I would like to have an umbrella for my birthday. But if I say I would like to have the umbrella, yun, meron talaga akong gustong Pero tama yung pag-explain niya atin na a lady gave me whatever. Kapag always mo lang sabihin na a lady, parang like may babae. Pero kapag sabihin mo na the lady, tinutukoy ko na, that's the lady who gave me the gift. That's the lady who slipped on the floor. That's the lady who fell. Meron ka, yan yung pinag-uusapan natin na babae. So yeah, that's different. But, what else? Do you wanna... Do we proceed in the next question? Do you want to do some of the questions?
No, complete the whole what's this? The whole session with the Paprika, then later.
Yeah, we were just like discussing part 2
You're just
questions.
doing the number task 2 or part 2.
Yeah, part 2.
Okay.
Kami ngayon. So, parang isa-isa ko, nag-brainstorm whatever kanina sa 1, 2, 3. Like like short-term job, she will be talking about like how she can sing in a foreign country, especially that she has a previous experience. Ako, I can say that I think I will be talking about like teaching English, I guess, because I know that that's one of my fortes, and I am quite competent. I know the basic theories, and I have like an idea. And then, what will be yours? What do you think? I mean, for me, I just want to gather ideas or something.
Job? I mean, short-term job?
Yeah. Alam mo na ba lang sasabihin mo about this?
don't know if it's applicable the register now because that is my but this I could say a lot of things about RN, but I will specify that
Oh, you can
I'll
say
be
that.
working as a nurse for 12 months because there are some company in United States that they have 12 months contract only. So that's okay, right?
You can say that. Yeah,
Yeah.
why not? That's actually, yeah, that's, tapos, sabihin mo din na, ano, may experience ka na, I mean, for me, kasi madali lang sabihin ko na, hindi ko kasi kailangan ng certification, so parang madali lang talaga na kahit saan ako pumunta na foreign country. But yeah, you can also say that.
I could say that I like this. I like this. This is my ideal job because I've been doing this for 10 years, and that's tama ba yun? I've been doing it for 10 years, so even my eyes are closed. I know what to do.
Ano the dumping years?
Donkey.
Oh, donkey, right. I don't use
same.
that. That's why I'm not familiar. Pero yeah, yun, diba? Yeah,
I
I'll
just
see you.
I just heard from them
The same.
these years.
Yeah.
So maybe I don't need to elaborate.
That's, I don't really know how to use that.
So yun,
The same.
so that I will get lost. So you on, and then at the same time, I would say that I like to do this job in United
The
States
same.
because I'll be hitting two birds in one stone because my relatives are also staying there. At the same time, I will be gaining high remuneration from that company or from that country because of the exchange rate. How to say this? Yung pera ba nila is mataas? How to say it in English?
You can, I would say, kung yan gusto ko i-emphasize, like because they get a good pay. They get good pay.
Yeah, good pay. Yeah, at least.
Or,
Yeah, good
ano
pay.
ba?
Yeah, good pay will be a good. I mean, they will consider it as qualification, right? Good pay.
Yeah, or, wait, but meron pang better way to say it. But, wait, let me think about it. They get, yeah, you can say that. Pero,
Ma'am Rita, wala.
Nandito ako.
hello? Terry, still there? Are you on mute? Okay.
Nandito.
Okay, and then, okay,
Wait,
so,
they're, yeah, because of they're known for getting good high salary. Kasi, before I forget, sabi mo na I like to do this job. I think I would like to do this job in the future. Siguro kasi kung sabihin mo na I like, you can say I like doing this job right now.
I'd
as well
like.
with my experience.
I'd like,
I'd like. I'd.
like, that is future.
Yeah, I would. That's the contraction of I would. You said like I would, right? So you would say I'd.
Sabi niya I like.
Yeah, so when you suggested that you better say I would like, then I also suggested that you contract those two
Yes.
words.
Right, I would like to do this job. Is it right? I would like to do this job because I've been doing this for donkey years. So even my eyes are closed, I could do the task.
Yes.
It's incomplete. It's an incomplete sentence.
Wait lang, I'm eating. I can't focus.
Okay. Okay. So what else? So
Yeah.
that's my answer on that topic. So if you want to move to another topic, it's okay. Because you did already the three questions, right? So we can go to 4, 5, 6, and then at least. What was the second? Describe a prize that you received. I already know. Already. So what about the area of science we just finished? For me, it's anatomy and pathophysiology because it relates to my profession.
Pakiulit na?
The area of science is anatomy and pathophysiology, because I learned this part I learned this area of science when I enrolled in my nursing course, and my professor was really good in teaching this uh, type of science. It is about the study of parts of the body, and study and it is the study of different microbes that cause that is oh my god, ano ba to?
And instead of saying really good, maybe you can say a better way. We can say well versed.
Well versed. Okay. So
Versed.
so how to say it in sentence? He was well versed in teaching this
Subject. Yeah, or yeah, in this field, yeah, something like that. Well versed. Now V.
Well versed. Okay. Well
Versed.
versed.
Past tense. Well versed.
Versed. Well versed. So it means is good.
Yeah.
Sino is good. Okay.
Ano ba? Marami siyang alam, parang well versed.
Okay. Yeah. And because he has a good teaching style.
There you go. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, well versed, and he has a good teaching style. Oh, good again. Because I said well versed, so I can use the good teaching style. Okay, got it. So that's my answer in the area of science. Okay. Well, describe the first time when you use a foreign language. Did you finish with it?
Ito pa, hindi ko pa rin alam kasi sinabihan ako na mali yung pagsagot ko last time.
Ano?
Oh,
Ang
Yung
alin?
number 5.
Ano dyan sa number 5? Tingnan ko.
foreign language, Ma'am Rita.
Describe the first time when you use a foreign language to communicate. Actually, I haven't answered this kind of question yet, never, even though we practice regularly with the IELTS speaking. Pero hindi pa ako natanong yan. But I don't know.
Sige po. Sige, Ma'am Rita. Tanong.
Sometimes they would ask you not English. Sometimes there was like except English, something like that.
Arabic. So, yeah, there's a lot. I use a lot of hand gestures and body languages because the person or the patient unable to understand what I'm trying to imply or what I'm trying to say. So that is my answer for
Okay,
this.
give me the bullet points. I'll try to answer that.
Okay. Maybe I would learn some words from you. Some good vocab. Wait, madam.
I can do it too.
Okay.
Anong number yan, te? 5.
So maybe to make my life easier, then I'll just mention English instead of something else, right?
Pero what if, te, pag ganun ang case about with that is not English?
Oh, okay. I'll just pick French.
Chinese.
French is easy because I sometimes here I had to. Okay. So
Or for you, Okay.
where are the
Maybe
bullet
for you,
points?
when you went to China or to Hong Kong,
When it happened, who you talked to, how you felt about the conversation.
Meron na.
Okay, so all right, so describe the first time when you used a foreign language to communicate. All right, today I'll talk about the first time when I used a foreign language, and it happened here when I was working here in Ottawa. It was in the federal government office, and I was at the reception, and the lady approached me, and she wanted to ask about how she could get in when her card didn't work. and but then she spoke in French, and I tried, and then I answered her in English, and then she said parle français, and I was like, okay, I understood parle français, so I said, oh, désolé, je so I got confused because that was the first time that I had to speak French, and I was really nervous. Actually, that happened maybe 5 years ago, and I still remember it vividly how stupid that was when I tried to speak French when I couldn't even. I just said, oh, désolé, je ne parle français, and I didn't even. It's like I couldn't even understand if I was the one listening to what I said, it would be really hard to understand. So the lady was, the good thing is the lady was so kind, although here in Ottawa, it's almost like mandatory to speak French to be bilingual. So when employees or head of the departments um, run into run into someone in the building and working in the building, and they try to speak French or English because whatever is convenient for them to use, and then the person they're talking to cannot speak the language, then they get so disappointed because they think that, oh, why are you here? Why do you even work here in the federal government when you can't understand, you don't speak French? So yeah, that actually that lady was I think she was the director of the finance already. But anyways, okay, I'm gonna compose something when it happened. How you talked to how you felt about it. Well, I think I answered those how I felt, and but I wasn't so fluent. But anyways, I haven't never.
Okay, you want to try, Teen? Teen?
Okay. I'm eating.
Maybe I'll practice that too.
I'll try it after I eat, I guess. I mean, I'm just gonna talk about
Okay,
it.
maybe yeah.
You go there, go if you want.
I want to answer because there are some part 3 questions that I don't know how to answer. Like, do you think grammar is important related to this part 2 question?
Okay.
I think grammar
So-
is important, and I don't know.
Let me just use the washroom, girls.
Okay, then.
Washroom.
Yeah,
I will say there are.
Baby.
I have different views regarding this.
Baby.
Regarding
I'll give you
this,
some food.
ano tawag ito? Question. Ano tawag ito? Prompt regarding this question. Prompt.
Yeah, regarding this question.
Because it varies on every situation. It's on depends on a case-to-case basis. If I were in a situation where I'm just trying to get through the day, or if I'm traveling, I feel like grammar isn't very important, or is it as essential? Whereas if you work in the medical field, conveying information is very critical, because with a minor grammatical error, it might confuse other healthcare providers. So in that case, grammar is important. But in cases like if you just need to go to the washroom, if you're just traveling somewhere, it's not as important. So I have like a different opinion, two different opinions when it comes to this. Pero wait, i-polish pa natin yan. Anong question niya na part 3? Pero yun ang opinion ko. Depende sa question.
Okay, another one. When learning a foreign language, which part is easier, speaking or writing?
Oh, definitely speaking. Because first of all, there are people who speak this language would probably have a hard time in writing. For instance, I can say that I'm competitive in in writing. I am competitive in English, but I detest writing, and I can talk about any topic. And I assume that that's also the case for other people, because when you speak, it's easier to practice because you're able to just converse with a lot of people. People prefer talking, whereas in writing, you have to write down the information. I had to write down ano yan siya, phrasal verbs, sinusulat sa baba, diba? You have to write down or jot down the information, and you have to pay attention to your grammatical structure, because it is evident that in writing people will see your mistakes, but when you talk, it's quite as long as people understand your thoughts and ideas, you're good to go. That's okay.
Yeah. And I forgot what I'm gonna tell. Or to write a foreign language. Is it important to write a foreign language well? To write a foreign
Again, I see this as I see this in two ways. It is not really essential when you're just trying to visit a place, because why do you need to learn the foreign language in the first place? If I were just there to visit and have a vacation for a short time, it's not really needed. I don't see why I have to be meticulous when it comes to paying attention to learning the language. But if I were going to use this language for school or for academic purposes, or maybe if I need to live there, for a long time, I think if I have to make sure that I will be competitive, at least be able to communicate with other people easily, because I will be dealing with these people on a daily basis if I live there, or if I need it for school and I need to learn the language in order for me to pass, because it is one of the requirements, I assume, in school, that I will be able to reiterate my thoughts and ideas academically.
It reminds me of my experience in Saudi Arabia. I could give this as example.
Please.
That I stayed there for almost 10 years, but I didn't know how to write up their Arabic language, but I know how to speak. So in this particular question, I believe that it is not really paramount to write foreign language well. For me, it's more on speaking compared to writing. So, is it sounds good? I mean, my sentence structure, is it understandable?
Pardon ako sa word na paramount there. I mean, for me, I don't know how to use it. That's why I'm not really sure if you're using it correctly.
Paramount is important.
So, pwede na tayo pagkagamit.
Extremely important is paramount.
So, it's okay to sa context ng sentence.
I did not hear. What did you talk about?
I said so for me it's because I'm trying to paraphrase the important, because I use already the important earlier. So I paraphrase it. So I said so for me learning it's not paramount to write a foreign language. So for me, speaking is much more important. Much more important. So I said it's not paramount, or for me.
I think for paramount, it's more comfortable to use it in a positive way than in a negative way. If you put not paramount, it defeats the purpose of the word.
Oh, so if I say not paramount, it's not
paramount.
It's acceptable.
Yeah. You can say not that essential or not that necessary or something.
Okay. Yeah.
Or
so,
you can.
Okay. So it would be
I
paramount.
say essential, crucial.
Yeah. But paramount is a good word if you don't put it in a negative context.
So can you give an example, please, on how to use this sentence?
So like extremely important, it's definitely paramount. It's paramount to our existence, something like that. Well, I don't know. Well, with the language, it's paramount in the process of learning or something.
Mhm. So pwede
Yeah, I
rin,
can see that.
Yeah.
mhm.
I can see that.
Yeah, so speaking is more paramount compared to writing.
You can say speaking is paramount. Speaking is paramount. Okay, if you compare, okay,
Yeah.
you are comparing two things here, right? So maybe
Yes.
you just leave out paramount. You better use just the simple word, or it's
Mm.
more. But you said that you use already the important, okay, yeah.
Essential,
Essential or vital on
vital, I guess, or significant,
yeah.
It's hard, eh?
necessary.
But I think you can still pull that off if you still use the important, because you are adding more anyway. So it would vary the sound.
Okay.
So even if you repeat the word important, but you put more before it, and since you are also comparing two things, so you can just repeat, but make sure that that's the last time you mention that. You can use another one like essential, paramount, or necessary,
How about the word
integral, or
imperative there? How do you use the word imperative?
it's like when you say mandatory, it's imperative to
Imperative.
to help to help others in need. That's your moral obligation.
Imperative
Yeah.
is mandatory. It's not important. It's
No.
not synonym of important.
No, it's not the synonym. It's,
Okay.
Christine asked me how to use it in a sentence, imperative. So imperative is like do this, do that.
I
Means
have
like
another
almost
question.
obligatory. It's your duty to do it.
Mandatory. Okay. I have another question here that is for me is mind blowing.
Mind bugging,
Why do people learn
mind
so
blogging.
people
What?
do
I don't even know.
people learn English and it's spoken lang no, do you think English will mainstream? Yeah. Do you think English will be the mainstream language of the world in the future?
It is already the mainstream.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Will minority languages disappear?
Well, I
I
don't.
can see it happening. Yeah.
Why?
Like, for instance, in I've done some research when it comes to the indigenous people in Canada, and I heard that only like less than 40 people nowadays are using the native language, which is actually devastating because people used to live in this land, and like, it's a common knowledge that the not really immigrants, the
Natives. The natives.
Siniwano, um, you know, we stole, not really we, but people who live here now stole their land, and they're not really, it's also even derogatory. Like a lot of people consider it derogatory when they're called native speaker because they're not really proud of who they are because of the impact of a society that, like, they are being abused, and with the stigma that it's really negative when you're a native person. So instead of them being proud of their culture, they don't even want to indulge in their own tradition. And I find it depressing that they don't want to use their language, and the native language is now might be considered a dead language in the future because no one is really proud of trying to explain that they're native. I mean, I'm sorry, my thoughts are jumbled and everything, but I think that, for example, the Philippines, who wants to speak in Ilocano? It doesn't sound cool when you speak in Ilocano, right?
Yeah.
It's quite sad. The younger generations are highly influenced by Western, so they would rather speak a language that is foreign instead of them speaking their mother tongue. That's
Yeah.
that's my thoughts about it. I'm sorry, but you can. That's my idea.
Yeah, why not?
So,
What about
but to me, when the question is, okay, what's the question again?
um minority language will disappear?
I would say no. So I won't answer the same as Christine because I would say no. I would
No,
say
that's
no,
fine.
I don't think so. Because people who are bilingual or even uh, when they speak multiple languages, they still wanna keep their native or mother tongue, and they are proud to teach that down to the next generation, and it's like a legacy for them. So their children are learning, and at school too. It's almost included in the
History,
children's
right? Yeah.
curriculum that the kids should learn their own language even though they are here in Canada and they came from, for example, India, and they are encouraged to keep their mother tongue and keep speaking their language, especially at home. And parents are always reminded that they should use their native language with their children at home. So that's gonna be my answer. And
Oh, I remember I answered this question also before, and I said no because for me if the what's this one, the native language
mm,
will disappear, it's like you lost also the identity of the specific country,
mhm.
right?
Yeah, your own
The
identity,
Yeah. How?
your
Your own
national
identity.
identity.
I'm saying for the whole country.
Yeah. Or you can say your national or one's national identity.
Mm-hmm.
Or you can always address you when you are talking about general people in one
Mm-hmm.
specific society. So we
Yeah.
say like if you don't keep your mother tongue, so it's like you're losing your identity, national
Identity,
identity.
national
Yeah,
identity.
yeah,
I
yeah.
remember again this word you, right? Who's this one? Dean. They always say in the practice, if we will say you, and then they will say that, oh, you mentioned again you, it's not the academic, and then and they said that this is a friendly interview, right? So
So who said that? Who said that you?
anyway, those people only who are practicing, those
Okay,
people.
no. I learned that. I don't know where I learned that, but I know that I learned it from my study, like legit study, not with people that who
Yeah,
people who
yes, I know.
that when you talk about general people, you use
Yeah,
the pronoun you.
you. Yeah,
Yeah.
because you're not talking directly to. If you say you, maybe they're thinking that you're pertaining to the person that
You're talking to.
the
No,
people you're talking with.
no, it's
But if you will explain that it's general, that's why
mm-hmm.
you're
Yeah,
using the
yeah.
words you. Okay, I got it. Thank you.
Yeah. Although, like, if you talk about a particular group of people, you will say people in this country. You can say people, but when you say like specific characteristic, uh, well, instead you don't say I. You always say you should do this, you should do that, but it doesn't mean that you are telling that to the person like your examiner. No.
Okay, thanks. Thanks. Another question.
Okay. What?
Uh, why do you think of children learning a foreign language, Roman? What do you think of children learning a foreign
Oh, I
language?
think that's awesome. So that's what I'm gonna say. First of all, I always have this fascination about people, or the question was about kids, right? I always have this fascination hearing children speaking different kinds of languages, or let's say they have their own language, but then at the same time they can speak two one or two more languages aside from their own language. And for example, there was a friend of mine, and she's got a child, and they were from Korea. They came to Canada a few years ago, from South Korea, and the kid, of course, spoke English and at the same time spoke Hanguk, and that's the language, the Korean language. But I was really surprised when the kid started to speak French, and I was thinking like, wow, it was mind blowing because she was only 4 years old and she could speak French. I can't, I'm terrible in speaking French. I can't save my life when it comes to speaking a French language, although it's almost like mandatory here in Ottawa. When you're working, people would expect you to be bilingual. And I'm always saying to everybody, like, I'm bilingual. I speak, and even like maybe I speak multiple languages, because in the Philippines, I speak, when I was growing up, I spoke my father's language, which is like just unique to his tribe. And my mother, who was not from my father's tribe, also spoke a different language from my father, and I spoke that language too. So I consider myself like a linguist almost. So when I feel that I can't speak French, or it's a struggle for me to speak French, and there was this 4-year-old girl from South Korea and could speak French fluently, so I was like, whoa, that is awesome. So what else should I say? What
is linguist? What did it mean?
Linguist meaning like a person who is able to speak multiple languages, or like has a person with a gift to speak multiple languages. Yeah.
Okay. If you say bilingual, it's only two
Two
languages.
Two languages. Because bi is 2. Tri is 3. Mono, yeah. Mono is 1.
So how to pronounce it?
Monolingual. Yeah.
Monolingual. Mono is more. It's 4.
Mono is for one, only one language. Yeah.
Okay. One is mono.
And then bi is 2, and more than that, you can say multiple.
Linguist.
Yeah, linguist is the person, really the person who's got that gift. It's not only that he speaks multiple languages, but can really speak it like a native. That's the linguist.
Before I forget, is it right the way I pronounce this word? I'm a food enthusiast.
Enthusiast.
I am
An enthusiast.
I'm a food enthusiast.
Enthusiast.
Enthusiast. Enthusiast.
Enthusiast. I'm enthusiast.
Just pronounce it the way it's written.
Enthusiast.
It's just the intonation that you have to be careful. Enthusiast.
Enthusiast.
You get it. Got it. Yes.
Enthusiast. Okay, thank you.
So that you don't feel it's difficult. You just say enthuse first. Enthuse with the S, because I think you have the difficulty in transitioning from thu to S. So just combine the two. Enthuse. Say enthuse. Enthuse. Yes. And then enthusiast. And then just, slide down. Enthusiast. Enthuse. Because Dave also has got a problem. I think most of the Indian people, they have a problem of pronouncing IELTS. They say IELTS.
Yeah,
IELTS. I said, Dave, say this. Yes. Say yes. And then I said, repeat it. And then slide down. IELTS instead of yes, IELTS.
Yeah.
So, but
And
sometimes,
even the vegetable here, they calling it vegetable.
yeah,
Vegetable.
many, not only from India people, they even in some countries they also say vegetable. I think in Asia, it's only us who can really pronounce vegetables as correctly. Except for the V, because we have also problems with the V and the B.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so this
And
another question. Why
Yes.
are sige, why
Ay, before ko
yes,
makalimutan, Ate Rita,
Yes.
ate, sabi mo my mind was blowing. Kasha, so sabihin, pwede mo, past tense kasi my mind was blown. Or it blew my mind.
Yes, it blew my mind.
There you
What
go.
about if I receive, let's say the interviewer asked me and then I would say, oh, that question is mind blowing. Is it?
Yeah, there you go.
Is
Kasi
it
you're using it as
A present.
adjective. An adjective. Tama ba?
Uh-huh.
And that question is mind-blowing. Nagpuputok yung ulo ko. Yun kasi, past tense yun, my mind was blown. Past tense dapat. Yeah, tama. Yeah, that question is mind-blowing.
I think for me, mind blowing is in the positive light. You know, when you appreciate something, it's mind blowing.
Yeah, I mean,
It's
it
not.
can be positive or negative.
I
Parang
don't
shock
think
diba?
it's not very appropriate in the
I was
negative.
flabbergasted.
Oh, flabbergasted.
Natuwa si, si Ma'am Rita dyan eh, flabbergasted.
I know.
Oh yeah, so okay, so mind blow. So tama yun. Oh, it's a mind-blowing question.
So anything that gives you this reaction, like
Yeah. Mind blowing.
mind-blowing, my
But-
mind was blown. It blew me away.
Yeah, but
Wow.
that when it's a positive thing. But if it's a
I mean, it can
negative
be
thing,
positive, not necessarily positive or negative.
no, to me
But it's
it's
a
for
both.
positive, because if it's negative, it's like, why? It's mind blowing. It's not even, if it's difficult for you, it's not mind blowing.
For example,
Yeah.
I can say it blew my mind when I found out that my friend had sex with my sister. It blew my mind. I can say
Really?
that.
I don't know, because to me, if I am in that situation, I wouldn't use blew my mind. I would say like, oh, when I heard her sing, it blew my mind. Wow, that was so
Yeah,
impressive. Yeah.
Inclining to positive. Yeah. Inclining to positive, actually.
Because I always hear that when I watch the Britain Got Talent or American
Yeah.
Idol, it blew my mind. Yo, your voice is this, and I never heard that in a negative light. Like if you are.
Mind about that phrase.
Okay.
It's a phrase that is usually positive meaning. It's not negative in common. You can still use it, but usually positive.
Mhm.
Siya.
Yeah,
More on
but-
positive.
Yeah, I think the most important thing, if that's the first word that would come to your mind, then just use it, because then it would come naturally, rather than thinking of something else.
That question blew my mind. Right.
That question
It's
is
mind
mind-blowing.
blowing. Just say mind blowing, because right there and then, that's how you are feeling. So you are still feeling it. If you say blew my mind, that means in the past. You are not feeling it now.
Okay, got it. Thank you. Ang galing naman ng mga partners ko.
Imagine mo, that question is amazing. That question is surprising. Parang ganon.
Yeah.
Me, when I had that question about school leavers, I said, oh no, this is really I said, I think I used the word struggling. I'm struggling with this question. It's tough. Oh, I said, this question is tough. I'm struggling.
Oh.
But I'm gonna give my best shot. That's what I said to the examiner.
Okay. Mhm. What about this question? Why are some language classes is boring? Why some language classes boring? May kulang dito sa diba? May kulang dito, right? Why are some language classes boring?
That's correct. Why are some language classes boring? Yeah, that's correct.
Why are some language classes boring? Tama ba?
You can say also why some language classes are boring. But you can also say why are some language classes boring. So don't repeat the R there in the board before boring.
So, yeah, what can you say about this? Why?
So is that like in part 3? I have to know which question I am answering. So that,
Part 3.
okay.
Part 3, ano?
Yeah, there were, I would answer like, well, there were, when I was in school, there were classes that were boring and there were language classes that were not. So I think it depends on your, in your interest in the subject, and also it would depend mostly who is teaching the subject, and then how the person is teaching. For example, if I'm teaching English language in this class of 10 students and I just kind of like write down something on the board for the first 30 minutes, for sure that's boring. But if I start engaging my students by maybe singing a song about that's related to the subject, so I think the class wouldn't be boring. So overall, some language classes are boring because the teacher is boring.
Yeah. That's a good one.
Yeah.
I was gonna say interest too, and then my second point would be it depends on how useful this language will be for me. Like for now, even though some other people find English other people find English boring, but since it is essential for other people to learn this language because they will need it for their future career, they will have to pay attention, and no matter how boring the subject would be, they will find a way for this language to be interesting anyway. But yeah, that's a good, at the maganda din yung point na it depends on the teaching strategies of the teacher.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because the teaching strategy, not teaching style of the...
Same.
Yeah,
Teaching
style, method, strategy, those are synonyms, so you can use like one and then
Teaching method, idea. Love it. I love it.
okay.
But how can we paraphrase because we use already that the student the classes is boring because the teacher is boring.
How can we paraphrase?
Maybe
not
another
interesting.
boring. Yeah, the second boring. Can we change it with another synonym of boring?
Maybe, I don't know. Well,
That's why students are bored,
maybe you can say lack of I don't know, maybe lack of energy. It depends on what comes out of your head right there when you're talking to the, because you can choose, you don't have to mention those things when you answer.
So in the band descriptors, you don't have to paraphrase everything.
Yeah.
It says in the lexical resource, it uses paraphrasing when necessary. You don't have to paraphrase everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
So
There's another one. Last question for this part 3. Why can some people learn language fast while others learn slowly?
oh, you know what? I got that during my mock test. You know what I answered? I said like, okay, can you repeat the answer, the question, please? I'm gonna answer it.
Okay. Why can some people learn languages fast while others learn slowly?
Well, there are people who are really gifted in languages. So those who are gifted, they can learn fast. But I'm not saying that those who are not, that they cannot learn. They still can learn, but it's a challenge for them. So it comes down to what you are gifted, I don't know, but that was my answer. I said, like, for those who are gifted, it's easier for them to learn, but for those who are not, then it's a struggle. But still, both groups can learn many languages. It depends on their motivation. So if you are really self-driven, gifted or not gifted, you can still learn the language. It's not easy for others, and for others, it's just like piece of cake.
Ang galing. For others, it's like a piece of cake. Oh, idiom.
Idioms, yes.
The like a piece of cake. Pwede din ma-insert yung ano, no, diba? There are some people that they have their own face. They have their own face to face. Yung face is P-A-C-E, face.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I don't know how to use it. Because there are some children that are, they have their own, they learn at their own pace.
Every learner is unique,
Yeah.
when it comes to learning approach. So some are slow, some are fast. So you can say that, like, it talks about the pace. And then you can shoehorn the pace there somewhere along the way before you finish.
Okay, but I like your idea. Yung
Each
how did you use this one, piece of cake? I really love it.
For some it's a piece, for some it's a struggle, for some it's a piece of cake. For other people it's a struggle, but for others it's a piece of cake.
Okay, got it. Thank you. Okay, so next, ano na tayo?
Saan ka naman nakakuha ng mga questions na yan, Josell?
Dito, yung IELTS assistant.
Yung sa Google? Yung tulad kay Christine?
I don't know. Tina, buksan mo na ba yung ano ko?
Yeah, I bought my own. So, ito yung app na sinasabi ko na binayaran natin.
Magkano yan?
Per month. $10, 10 Canadian dollars per month, but you can get for $20 for 3 months.
Ay ako, hindi pa ako nag-is.
So, pag hindi mo talaga nabuksan yung ano ko, app?
There, I gave up.
Okay. Yeah, mga Rita, na we need, this one I paid for 12 months.
Which one? Yung Zoom? Yung Zoom, ang sinasabi mong you paid for 12 months?
Aside from Zoom, I purchased for this one for 12 months. I feel that I will take the extra for 12 months. Ano ba yan? Yeah, this is 59 because the original price was 80 something, and then at the time I bought for $49, I think, so I just purchased.
Okay, Christine told me it's reliable, so I want to hear from you. Is it reliable? Okay.
Yeah, because all of the students all of the people who did the exam, they posting those their questions. So those questions are really in here. But in after the part 2, they will ask some question from your story, and then they will do again the part 3. Then they will proceed to part 3.
Okay. So, have you heard that the questions change every 3 months? Sometimes, sometimes they come back, the same questions, but they normally change it every 3 months. I heard that from others too.
But I heard with this one, the online review.
Magpakita nga kayo ng mga mukha nyo. Bakit ba wala akong nakikita?
Wala ako.
ba yan?
Sa online trip.
O yan. Kanta mo na tayo, be. Ay, naiinis ako dito.
Eh, kanina, naka-online, nakakama ko eh.
Break naman tayo. Naka 2 hours na tayo, Tintin.
Ano?
Kanta
Break?
muna tayo, break. Gusto kong kumanta.
Gusto mo?
Oh, gusto kong kumanta.
Oo, sige, kanta ka.
Sige, kanta ako ha.
Pwede parinig ng boses nyo. Maganda rin yung boses ni Tintin. Ako, pasayawin nyo na lang ako. Wala akong I'm your backup dancer. A dancer only, not dancer.
You can't dance to save your life? Or no, you can't sing to save your life?
You know?
Kaya lang naka-live ako eh. So, ano ko na lang ito yata, itong live ko. I-turn off ko na lang ito kasi mag-ano siya eh. Magka-copyright pag nagsising ako ng cover song. Sige, kanta ako ha, basta.
Sige, sige.
Kikinig lang kayo
Maaga pa
dyan.
naman dyan, diba?
Ha?
Maaga pa ba dyan? O medyo late na rin?
Medyo late na rin. Oh, gabi na.
Okay.
Teka lang.
Sabi ko, kinig ako. Nakanig.
Sige na, ready na?
Yan.
Yung boses ko lang maririnig nyo. Ha? Okay lang? Walang, parang raw lang talaga siya.
Oh.
Lakasan mo na yung background music mo.
Eyes in the sky, burning in your
Lady
eyes.
Gaga.
You look at me and babe, I wanna
Nag-start na
catch
kami?
on fire. Ha? Oh, nag-start na. Sandali, wala? Hindi nyo ako naririnig.
Hindi na yung marinig.
Bakit? Yung ano, hindi nyo maririnig kasi naka-live ako eh. Sandali,